Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see you've all made it. I think last time I was in here, I was seeing a lot of people's legs kicking out New York, New York. So I'm very impressed that you've arrived for a 9:30 start this morning. What a brilliant day we had yesterday. Let's have a recap, shall we?
Welcome to Co-op Congress.
Day one, that's a wrap. Here's some of the highlights.
I'm Richard Parker, I'm Mayor of the West Midlands, and it's fantastic to be here at the Co-operative Congress in Birmingham in 2026.
Change the world. And that's a wrap.
Thank you so much. Brilliant, Amrit Singh and the social media team. Again, same today. We've got Jazz as well here on photography. So if you don't want to be on any videos or social media, do make yourself known to the team. But we would love you to share this from your accounts. We're not being noisy enough across our socials. Yesterday we talked about telling stories a lot. So this QR code, you can find us on Instagram, across our other socials, but do talk about what your experiences of Congress and share your stories. So something that we did this time last year is that we launched our individual supporter offer. So many of you here, in fact the majority of you here, are here with your co-op societies and organisations, but we've had requests for people to be able to join Co-operatives UK as member supporters, so that when they leave an organisation but they still want to keep in touch with the cooperative movement and everything that's going on, they can do that directly. So we've had a couple of people here for the first time this weekend that were able to come because they were here as individuals. So it is great for that purposes, and then obviously they get updates as well from all the different organisations. So to become an individual member supporter, you can't be an actual member, you can't vote at Co-operatives UK, so it is just a supporter membership. You can see the registrations team at the back to do that. Most of you here won't need it. It's more asking that you spread the word when people want to be, it's a couple of pounds a month, it's not much money at all. But I would like to welcome everybody that is joining us today. Because today we're going to look ahead to the future of work. We're going to look at local power and community energy. We're going to find out about what's going on in our high streets and places. And we're going to talk about cooperation amongst cooperatives, which was something that we talked about at last night's International Summit as well. But running alongside Congress today is our National Youth Summit, so it's brilliant to have our younger supporters with us in the room this morning. This is our 5th Youth Summit, sponsored by the Cooperative Bank, who we're grateful to, as it does allow us to continue this engagement with younger people, and we make sure that it's free and we're able to offer travel, bursaries and support and accommodation for those who want to attend, so it's really, really important and appreciated. And it's important, the Youth Summit, because the future of work of cooperatives cannot be something we talk about without young people in the room. That would be ridiculous. And so for the past couple of years, Co-operatives UK has had a youth advisory lead, many of whom are with us this weekend from the advisory group as well. So we thought it was important to start Congress today, and again, based on feedback from our youth advisory group, you'll find that the summit's integrated in, so that it's all part of the same programme. If people want to be able to come into Congress, they're absolutely more than welcome. But I'd just like to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing with the Youth Advisory Group, because many of you, like us, are really aware that our younger generations are really aligned to the values of cooperation, but don't really know what a co-op is and aren't really engaged in the sector, and it's something we are absolutely determined to crack. So I'm going to welcome to the stage now from our Youth Advisory Group, Victor Agbarteen, who's going to update you on what the advisory group have been working on. Welcome to Victor.
Okay. Oh, this is a bit more nerve-wracking than I thought. But yeah, morning everyone. Thank you, Rose, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to speak here today. My name is Victor, and indeed, as Rose mentioned, I am, and I've been a member of the Cooperatives Youth Advisory Board, or more also known as the YAG, for nearly 2 years. A bit more about me. I am a student from Birmingham, and somehow keeps finding myself in spaces I never really imagined I'd be in. If you ask my 15-year-old self when I started all this, I would never believe I would be speaking at Congress today. I grew up in a city so full of brilliance. I mean, grew up in Birmingham, which I'm quite glad we have Congress here today. And I see oftentimes, I see a side of Birmingham that often some people don't see, where oftentimes your postcode can still be a deciding factor to your chances long before your potentials is even seen. And from my personal experience, I watch family, friends, neighbors navigate systems that are not really designed for them or designed with them in mind. And I realized that these inequalities is not just an abstract concept, but it's a timetable, a bus fare, a GP appointment you don't really get to attend. And these early experiences for me are what sort of cultivated this belief that the system can and needs to be changed. And I realized that COPs can be a place to do that. COPs can be a place where we move from saying that the system is broken, saying that the system is unfair, to actually building alternatives, putting the power, putting the ownership, and voices back to the hands of the ordinary people, in my case, the young people specifically as well. And I will tell you a bit more about the YAG and this advisory group, which I think has been doing incredible things, no bias, of course. And for those that kind of don't know about the advisory group, we are made of young people from across the UK. They are my lovely members. And from different experiences, different backgrounds, different specialism, and some of us work in co-ops, and some of us are involved in community organizations, and some of us have come through youth work or youth activism, education, local projects. Absolutely fascinating. I find every meeting. But the main thing I always reflect on is that we are all here because we believe that young people have a role. They have a role to play in the future of cooperative movement. And the YAG was set up like in 2024 to advise the co-op, as well as working on projects and bridging that gap between young people and cooperatives. And today I really want to talk about young people and the pathways for them, not just as a side issue, not just as something that comes back, that we come back to when we have more time, when we have more funding, when we have more capacity, but something that sits right at the center of what this movement says and wants to achieve. And I feel quite strongly about this, and I think we know young people are growing up in quite difficult, uncertain times, and the data tells us this, right? And I can tell you from my own experience that too many young people feel invisible and disconnected. and they are struggling to access the spaces, the resources, the networks, the opportunities that help previous generations get on their feet. And it just takes one person, and I think we had such a nice discussion yesterday evening, but very much it just takes one person to believe in you, one person to give you the opportunity to very much change the trajectory of your life. And I think I'm a brilliant example where it just took that one youth worker for me when I was 15 years old, and that shy sort of quiet student at the back of the room to really believe in me. And that's why I'm here today. And I hope that maybe one of you can be that person for another young person in this room, as we do have the Youth Summit, indeed. But yeah, people in the late teens, people in their 20s, really do need a space to experiment, to learn, to socialize, to build. They need spaces created by them for them. And that's quite important because places they can relate to, places they can sort of try new things, they can experiment, they can fail in a comfortable way where a failure is not gonna be a detrimental thing for your life. But yeah, find the confidence and find a place that you belong in. I mean, I myself, I'm still working on my confidence, as you can probably tell by my shaking. But I say, yeah, I think too often, these doors are being shut too early for young people. And I do think that we should be the ones throwing them open. We should be the ones offering those opportunities for young people. Now, I do realize it's not always easy. I do realize that everyone in this room is probably dealing with real pressures. But if we want to grow this economy, if we do want to open and reach and embrace new ideas, I do really believe that the cooperatives really needs to go out and build these spaces for young people. And yeah, I think we all know that this story does really matter, right? And right now, young people have a lot of different complex needs, and they need things like affordable housing, they need democratic spaces, they need sort of that access to culture that oftentimes is sort of stripped away, the community, the education. I found it fascinating, the first session yesterday, which I really could relate to, especially as someone that grew up in Birmingham. Young people really need a future that feels accessible. And I think this should matter deeply to the cooperative movement. If we want to develop and grow this movement, I think it really does require for us to widen the entrance into this movement for young people, so that more young people can find their way and see that places like the co-op movement is a space for themselves that they can belong in. And so that brings me to the charter, a project which the YAG has been working on for quite a few months. And over the past 6 months, the YAG has been working on the charter, which was designed to bring partners to the movement together and work to build something together for young people, with young people. And this charter is about setting out how young people need, what young people need specifically from the cooperative movement, and what the movement can do to support the young people, to participate, to lead, to build. It is not just about inviting young people, which I think is quite an easy way to go about this. It's about asking what needs to change so that young people can get involved. The charter is this document with the Co-operatives UK that will be published with the Co-operatives UK in the near future, and be co-designed by the Youth Advisory Group. And this sets out a series of recommendations and project proposals that will combine the YAG, Co-ops UK and members to work in specific issues, bringing together different resources, skills, information and knowledge to work towards creating better pathways. And pathways is a big keyword which we mention oftentimes at our meetings, because for young people to get into work, to start their lives, that is something that we really need to work on. And so these are some of the key project proposals. Cheers. Deliver a peer-led mapping of the participation and experience of young people to cooperatives across the UK led by young people. Co-design a practical toolkit or training often to support co-ops in engaging young people. Initiate a movement-wide education program working in schools and universities. The program would also provide sort of education for those that are outside of the school system, that are sort of outside without the access to mainstream education, to really be able to tap into already established networks of young people who have work experience at cooperatives. The last one is going to be around a pilot youth-led, cooperatively owned, democratically governed youth space that gives young people a real ownership and decision-making power and opportunities for participation. And so essentially the Charter's purpose is to work towards youth participation and improve access routes. And I think this idea of access routes, pathways, is going to be a key word, which we'll probably hear a lot at the Youth Summit as well, because the YAG really does feel strongly about this. And the Charter sets out a list of projects that are made at improving access, participation, leadership, right? Opportunities for young people. And we will be opening a call for members who would like to pilot or support this work. This idea is sort of that of a full map of what Co-ops UK memberships is doing, right? It's understanding what is working and what isn't working, and what collectively we can work towards creating better conditions, better doorways, better pathways for young people to get involved in the cooperative movement. And so I think if there is one thing that you take from this speech from me, is these questions that we want to ask, which is how do we make the cooperative movement more open, more visible, more tangible, and most importantly, more impactful for young people. And there are already sort of very exciting things happening, I would say. We can see young people getting involved in community leadership, creative spaces, climate action, housing, worker co-ops, and new forms of, sort of democratic businesses. And I find it really, really interesting having discussions with other members of the YAG and just how incredible things they're doing, right? And we can see young people looking for alternatives. We are not short of ideas and ambitions. We just need a space to actually cultivate them and translate our passions into actual work and future, right? And I really do hope that you can get involved. I do hope that you can support this work and support young people, most importantly. And so we are asking interested members to sign up at the reception, and we will be sending a mailer out after the event for an expression of interest. But I mean, final reflections for me, and this is like my third time being at Congress. With every Congress, with every summit, with every conversations I have with someone in this event who really believes as deeply as I do and feels the belief as strong as I do, that actually young people are the future and we just need to give them the access. Co-Congress has sort of become this place for me where I recharge my conviction, per se, where I am reminded of my visions as a very passionate 15-year-old self, living all the way down in Erdington, that my vision is not unrealistic, that these passions I sort of have cultivated from my lived experiences can be done, and I really do believe that it can be done through the cooperative movement. And this sort of almost unrealistic, but felt unrealistic belief of mine is always shared by professionals, by activists, by young people I meet at every Congress, at every youth summit across the country. And so for our new faces of young people coming to Youth Summit, I'll be honest, I will say, take every opportunity you have from these events, because there are really a door that at least opened a lot of doors for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor. Throw our doors open, that's the ask from Victor and the team. So I really want you to take that on board. What I thought Victor was going to say, but he's probably too polite, is that he has been here for 3 years and so has everybody else, and we're not progressing it. Everybody goes, yeah, we want to do this. And it's still not where we need it to be. Take that from Co-operatives UK as much as anyone else. So I'm absolutely determined that this is the year that we start creating those opportunities. We know obviously what's happened to Cooperative College and the role that Cooperatives UK would like to play going forward, but where are those opportunities for young people to find their way into the sector? It's really, really important that we just start acting on our faith and belief in young people. And we're really proud of the work of the Youth Advisory Group, and we've got a wonderful lead for youth, Louis Benet, and they are taking interest. They're going to be around, they're going to be around for the whole day, but if you want to, like say, provide your details at registration, and we're going to be talking about it shortly as well. So before we start the next panel, this is the opportunity now for those of you that are going to panels in different rooms to be able to leave. So anyone leaving the room can get to their sessions, either the Co-op Congress breakout or the first Youth Summit session. They're on the screen now. So we've got Cooperatives in the Future of Work in Affinity 2, in Meeting Room 4, Social Care Cooperatives in the UK, and the Youth Summit's going to be in Ashted. So if you can make your way across there, please.